Hello and welcome to another episode of Disney Movie Investigation. If this is your first time watching, welcome to the show. In each episode, we take a look at a movie that is featured on Disney+. On this episode, we're going back into the Disney Vault as we take a look at Blackbeard's Ghost, starring Peter Ustinov. And stay tuned for a bonus story as we take a look at the history of Disney's Grad Night. And if you are enjoying these videos, I do ask that you please hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be notified with each new episode. But for now, sit back and enjoy this episode of Disney Movie Investigation. So like I said, today we're covering Blackbeard's Ghost. This movie was released on February 8th, 1968. It was directed by Robert Stevenson, and it is based on the novel Blackbeard's Ghost by Ben Stahl. The screenplay was by Don DeGatti and Bill Walsh. The production companies was Walt Disney Productions, and it was distributed by Buena Vista Distribution. The box office return was $21.5 million. So there is not a lot to this movie. It is one of those simple Disney comedies that they were making in the late 60s, early 70s. But in terms of the cast, we have Peter Ustinov, who plays Captain Blackbeard, Dean Jones, who plays Steve Walker, Susanna Pilchette, who plays Joanne Baker, Eliza Lanchester, who plays Emily Stowcroft, Jobby Baker, who plays Silky Seymour, Richard Deacon, who plays Dean Wheaton, and Michael Conrad, who plays Pinetop Purvis. In terms of the plot, an unassuming track coach accidentally invokes a spirit of a notorious pirate long believed dead, and who must now team up to lay the pirate to rest and save a local hotel from a mobster. So again, there's not a lot to this movie. It is as simple as you get. Would I recommend this movie? So when this movie came out, Disney was making a lot of these movies that had kind of a supernatural, silly premise, and it was very over the top. This is a great example of it, as the acting is very over the top, and while it was meant to be humorous, it sometimes comes off as really bad. The acting from Dean Jones is okay, but the rest of the cast becomes painful to watch. The plot is it's as simple as you get as well. The overall goal is for Blackbeard to assist Dean Jones in helping his track team win the championship in order to save the hotel that is Blackbeard's home. So again, it takes a lot of twists and turns that are unnecessary, and it just feels that it's a simple story that was extended way too long. So this is one of those Disney rarities that it's great to watch for a first time, but it's not one that I probably will be repeating over again. So let's take a look at our bonus story as we take a look at the history of Grad Night. So this was a long-running party that was designed for high school seniors to enjoy a night at Disneyland. The idea was created by Disney legend Milt Albright in the early 1960s. And let's take a look at the history. So the idea was to have a space for graduates from the LA area, and they would invite them to Disneyland, charge them a special price ticket, and the park would be open all night with special merchandise created for the event. In the early years, Disney would create a special rules for the event, as there be no drinking, no foul language, and guests had to arrive on school buses with chaperones. There was a dress code as well in the early years, as shorts and t-shirts were not allowed, and in the early days, the guys had to wear ties. Once they entered the park, the teens were not allowed to leave before dawn, and there was no sleeping at the park. In terms of the event itself, the first Grad Night was held on June 15th, 1961, and the attendance was over 8,000 students. They paid $6 and would get free access to all the attractions in the park. The guests would be let in between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m., with the party lasting until 5 a.m. This became very popular very quickly, and within a few years, grads were coming from schools all around the country. Eventually, Disney would also give prizes, and this would be various prizes, including brand new Ford Mustangs. As the event grew by the 90s, over 150,000 grads attended, spread over 7 to 8 different nights. Other attractions that were spun off because of the success of Grad Night included the Blast-Off pre-party, special merchandise created for the event, special fireworks, dance areas, and live performances from bands. In 2005, Honda came on board as a 10-year sponsor of the event, and beginning in 2013, the party that was moved to California Adventure. in Florida. The event was held in the Magic Kingdom from 1972 to 2011, and then after a brief hiatus in 2017, a reimagined Grad Night was moved to Typhoon Lagoon Water Park. However, it didn't all go perfectly. There were some problems in the early days of Grad Night. Problems that Disney had is that some of the teens engaged in alcohol consumption, vandalisms, and couples were being overly affectionate in some Disney areas. Those that were caught being inappropriate were held in a separate holding area by security until the event was over. So me being Canadian, I never attended one of these Grad Nights. I wish that it would, because it sounded like a lot of fun. But when I worked for Disney in 2011, I actually talked to one of my managers, and she worked Grad Night, and she said it was a lot of fun, both for the guests and for the cast members. So I think it's a great idea, and it gives those kind of kickoff before they go off to college. So yeah, I would thank you so much for joining us here on another episode of Disney Movie Investigation. I would love for anyone to please leave a comment below on what they think of Blackbeard's ghost, as well as if you have ever attended a Grad Night, a celebration in Walt Disney World or Disneyland. I would love to hear about your experience. So as we look forward to our next episode, we're going to start our kind of Christmas movie countdown as we take a look at various Christmas movies that are featured on Disney+. Our first stop is a non-traditional Christmas movie as we take a look at Die Hard. So until next time, I hope you have a magical day, and we will see you real soon.